Warm greetings to everyone. This is Divjot Kaur, your host for today. I am the social media coordinator of HETS Youth League Association. I am a biomedical science student studying in Dalhousie University, Canada. To learn more about myself and my hobbies are singing, painting, playing tabla, and dancing. I warmly welcome all the eminent guests, dignitaries, and great educationists from different parts of the world. Today, we are going to start a new initiative of Mentors Meet, taken by Dr.Aruna Wadkar to get some global solutions for the problems occurring nowadays in the field of education. For the same, today we have four renowned speakers: Dr. Anurup Kaur, Professor M.D. Shariar Parvez, Dr. Neeta Mhatre, and Mr. Sunil Dutt Sharma from three different countries. Before proceeding further, let me tell you about our organization, HETS. HETS, Harvest Educational Transformation Solutions, is registered with MSME, Government of India in May 2017. ISO 9001-2015 certified. Another progressive turn with the launch of HETS Pratishtha India Trust NGO Foundation in 2022, where HETS aspires to empower women, children, and people across all genders. Academic dropouts through education develops knowledge, skill development, educational, and corporate training. Improving employability scope, assessment, and counseling projects. HETS is an education consulting and service company exclusively dealing with end-to-end education service provider pan-India. Our team works with our educational institutions in planning, developing, and managing educational institutions that meet their vision, mission, and goals. HETS has more than a decade of experience setting up and running schools and preschools across the country. Transformation can happen only through focus and passion apart from learning, teaching, and leadership. Before proceeding for the mentors meet, let me invite the inspiration behind this event, Dr. Aruna Wadkar, for the opening statement. She is the founder and managing director of HETS, Harvest Educational Transformation Solutions. She is the founder and chairperson of HETS Pratishtha India, trust and resource person of Indianica Learning Private Limited, Britannica. Also, she is the advisory board member and mentor of Mount Literacy School and the advisory board member and counselor of Green Eden Public School. Along with all this, she is also the president of Wiki, Women's Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry for Karnataka Training and Development Council. Dear ma'am, I request you to share your views and allow the meet to be opened.
Thank you, Divjot, for this warm introduction of HETS. And I'm so glad to have you all on this platform and much awaited to see and hear you all to share the wisdom that you have on the topic that we are today. It's very much necessary that how we go ahead and get are more open to the transformation in education. Not all are open to it. We are sticking on to the mindset that this is how it is and this is how it should go, but we are not open to the mindset of, okay, let us make a change. Why is there an issue? Why is there a gap in the education system? We are still lagging back. Though NEP is taking a lot of effort, but still then, till it comes on our plate with the complete set of the NEP structure, we have to, after knowing what is NEP, at least every educationist should start implementing some of the things which we were already doing though it is in NEP, but we were already doing without knowing that, yes, this is a part of NEP. And NEP is not now, it is just reframed to a new concept. It is from beginning, but none of us had actually given a thought on that. So the reason for this topic is we want to make sure that how are our educators' view on this, so that everyone would know what are the various aspects that we could work on to get or embrace the change once the NEP comes in, or how do we start implementing NEP from now itself. So embracing the change, transformation is very much needed. So thank you so much for accepting our invite and making it happen today, this evening. Thank you so much. Yes, Divjot, over to you. Let us start.
As usual, we always learn something new every time from our ma'am, Dr. Aruna Wadkar. She is the true combination of beauty and brain. With this, I once again take pride in welcoming you all to the Mentors Meet, organized by Harvest Educational Transformation Solutions on the objective of embracing change and transformation. I am sure here everyone must have heard the famous quote penned by Albert Einstein: when you change the way you look at the things you look at the change. Today, to expand our knowledge about the same, I call upon the first speaker of the day, Dr. Anurup Kaur. She has experience of more than 25 years in the field of education and also in integrated activities. She worked as a principal and deputy director of senior high schools for more than 10 years in India. She is a renowned public speaker, author, and a social worker too. She is innovative and always ready to make things better for everyone. She has been conferred with many awards. Most recent awards received by her are the Best Principal Award 2022 in India and Most Inspirational Influencer of the Year 2022 from Bangladesh. Ma'am, please embrace us with your words of wisdom.
Yes, Divjot, please allow me to share my screen. Thank you, Divjot, for this wonderful introduction. Can you see my screen?
Yes, the screen is visible.
Hmm. Once again, I welcome you all. And I'm thankful to Dr. Aruna Wadkar for this wonderful initiative. This topic is really a current topic and a very burning topic in the field of education as well as other areas. So it's really good to discuss about it. We are basically talking about change. And it is very much clear with everyone that without change, there is no life. Well said by Shirley Winters, life is a constant process of change for better or worse. But I would like to add something here. If it is worse, if it is failure, it is also a step towards success. So, after every night, there is a day. If something is getting worse, it is for the betterment. So, we should not get afraid of any kind of change, and we should accept that change is important, change is required everywhere, in every field. That is true that we need to understand what exactly is the requirement as per the society, as per the needs. We need to go for the changes. Those who cannot change their mind cannot change anything, said by George Bernard Shaw. So, the major concept behind is that it's very much required to have a mindset to accept the things which are changing. That is why we say survival of the fittest. So, it is our mindset, and that is what education is. This is true education to understand the environment, to understand the surroundings. And if we are not able to understand, we are lagging behind. We cannot change others if we are not ready to accept the changes occurring. For me, change includes creativity, hip, advanced, non traditional, groundbreaking, and experimental. In terms of teacher, in terms of education, as a change maker, as a teacher, as an educator, it is very much important to be creative because if we are putting our thoughts in front of someone, there should be some creativity to create that interest, to make them realize that this is what is required. If we are aware, then only we'll be able to put the latest ideas in front of others. And we should be updated with advanced technology. During this pandemic, everywhere we were hearing about unlearn and relearn. And the reason behind was that we were not ready to leave our traditional methods, which is really required. And today, I would really like to put stress on this point that we said a lot, but still we are not ready to leave the traditional methods. And that is why we are facing a lot many problems in the field of education. So we need to break those boundaries. We need to understand that education is not restricted to anything. We need to be global because this technical world has made so convenient for everyone to learn, to know, and to gain more of the knowledge. If we are restricted to something, we will not be able to create that interest in our students. And yes, experimental on which every country is putting stress through education system. Without experiments, just with lecture method, we cannot bring change in our students. So we need to accept, and I know everybody accepts while saying, but we need to implement. That is why we are talking about transformation. Teacher is a change maker. His or her role is essential as a catalyst. It's not just that we can be dependent on technology. We need to have that change in ourselves, then only we can bring the change. A change maker is someone who is taking creative action to solve a social problem. Because whatever we are doing, it is society oriented. Whatever change is coming, it is for the society, from the society, of the society. So, whatever the social problem is, that needs to be addressed in a proper manner. And change making involves empathy, thoughtfulness, creativity, taking action, and collaborative leadership. Change due to world outbreak is really a burning question in front of every educator. The COVID-19 crisis revealed that teachers are the engines at the heart of our education systems. We have accepted it because during these days, everybody has observed that without a teacher, with a kind of screen restriction, they haven't got the values, they haven't got the all the necessity, basic needs were not fulfilled. I mean, they were not going for holistic change in them. So, without their work, it is impossible to provide inclusive, equitable, and quality education to every learner. They are also essential to pandemic recovery and preparing learners for the future. That is why in every country we are talking about the learning gaps that occurred due to pandemic in those 2 years. Now, the major challenges. Many educational systems are feeling challenged in having to prepare students for today's fast changing world. During these 2 years, students, they were so much on screen, they were observing lot many things on internet. We all agree that teachers' existence, teachers' importance, but the challenge is still in front of us. How to manage their mindset, which is moving faster than anything else. People everywhere are grappling with how to engage students in their learning. Students must develop the knowledge and skills for today and tomorrow's workplace, further education or training. Everything is happening because change is happening in the society. Getting change in the society starts with the youth. With the passing time, I have been observing that regardless of what change makers help their students achieve through optimizing their learning processes and technologies, we won't see results if we leave out the important source of it. Everyone wants to understand how the situation is changing, but without the correct information, we often form our own conclusions. For example, even though robotics and automation are changing the way we work, these technologies cannot entirely replace humans. What these technologies are doing is giving us a new sense of how we must adapt to the changing workplace by learning new skills and being prepared for the future. What is true development? Learners must not only develop what they know. The need is of holistic growth. They must know the environment. They must develop the values, all the skills, attitudes that will help them to be capable people to exist in the society. For this to happen, they need to actively take part in their learning and be motivated by it, for which change maker is always required, and that is an educator. We are talking about 21st century skills from last many years. The focus on hands-on learning with real-world applications helps develop a variety of skill sets, including creativity and 21st century skills. All of a sudden, when COVID-19 crisis came in front of us, where students were not able to meet the teachers, where they were not coming to the schools, then we realized this problem a lot. And then we started finding out other ways to develop these skills. We have got success too, and I really appreciate teachers for the same. When we talk about STEM or STEAM, basically, these are the skills. We are talking about the individual skills needed to do science, mathematics, from which students generally try to run away. So, by this particular area, we are just trying to develop these skills because these are the basic skills for every person to survive in this world. It's not something theoretical, it's actually experimental. So we need to change our mind first, then only we can bring this kind of change. When I'm talking about science, mathematics, engineering, and those needed to use technology effectively, we must understand that creativity, inquiry skills, And critical thinking, collaboration, design thinking is really important, for which Dr. Arna has already tried to organize sessions. Similarly, other educational organizations, they are also trying to give these kind of platform to their students. And nowadays, teachers are also getting training for all these things, and that's really good. Many of the schools have started adopting this culture of doing 60 to 70% experimental learning and 30 to 40% theoretical. That's also a very important topic nowadays. When we talk about our students, our youth, it's going in depression because they are not able to balance their lives with the current situation. Nowadays, just because of mechanical world, parents and others, they do not have time, and then students, they get these kids, they get actually in such problems where social and emotional issues are occurring. So to make them balance, nowadays schools and other organizations, they are conducting these sessions to make them balance, to understand, and to make them feel that first of all they need to love themselves. Social emotional learning is the process of developing the self-awareness, self-control, and interpersonal skills that are vital for our social existence and life success. So, when we integrate everything in our curriculum, then only we are getting the output that we actually require nowadays for performance. And for all these things, the input is also required in the similar manner, for which teachers, they also need to be trained. First of all, they need to change their mind, then only they can bring the change in the society. And then only true transformation is going to happen. A transformational teacher then is one who not only achieves transformation in his her students, but who also models a willingness to be transformed by learning himself or herself. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Over to you, Divjot.
Thank you, ma'am. Indeed, it was truly inspiring. But I am curious to know, why do we need to tell our teachers to unlearn?
Great question. As we are talking about the new society and its necessities, we need to understand that traditional methods are really not going to work when we are talking about the changes. As I have already discussed, that holistic growth, experimental learning is required. So it means when, suppose, let me give an example. When we are telling our students to do some calculations in the classroom, earlier what used to happen, teachers used to give some formulas and they used to pen down, they used to calculate, they used to take a lot of time, but students, they are faster, they know how to calculate on calculators, right? If we are spending 1 hour to do some calculations, rather than doing this, if teacher is aware that calculator is available and she can do that calculation easily, she will also guide students in the manner which they are looking for, right? And if we develop that um, in the classroom, definitely students are going to accept that this is what is required. So we need to change our mind as per the necessity of the society. This is what I really want to convey, right? I hope I'm clear, Devjot.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Moving further, we have with us Dr. Neeta Matre in the field of social and emotional learning. Her innovative ideas has inspired many students and teachers. She is a founder of Reach Out, a passionate edupreneur, psychotherapist, teacher trainer, and skillpreneur for students, rape survivors, transgender, and destitute. She has trained more than 5,000 teachers across the globe. She is the Peace Ambassador of IWPGA, South Korea. Ma'am, we would like to hear your point of view. Over to you, ma'am.
So thank you, Divjot. And the topic which talks is change and transformation. So let me tell you, Divjot, when I see you here, I think the change is happening. And not only the change, in fact, you are one of the ambassador of transformation. So when Dr. Aruna invited me, I was very sure that I will, as usual, will be not with my presentation, because the presentation is something which I understand is a monologue for me. But the presentation which comes out from my heart and which is absolutely on the spot here. So picking up something from Dr. Anurup ma'am, as she mentioned, and the best thing is the live example is all about HETS. And I'm not going to pick up any example from anywhere, but only going to talk about how HETS have been in this journey of NEP, whether it has been reframed. Again, it comes with HETS. Where I'm not advertising HETS, guys. Please don't take me otherwise also. So I am here talking about the genuineness of the platform. I'm talking about how HETS has been transforming, coaching, mentoring, hand-holding, also learning, unlearning, and relearning. Whether it comes to Dr. Aruna Wadkar, whether it comes to Dr. Anurup, whether it comes to Dr. Suganti, or whether it even comes to me. At times, we have been so open in telling the youngsters, can you help us out with this technology? And it was the time when we understood that it is important for us also to shift our way of learning, not only from our peers, but also from our youngsters. And understanding and learning from them has also widened our horizons, that now the teacher's duty is changed to a facilitator. It is important that we are not here only being a teacher, but it is important for us to understand that the duty of a facilitator is really there with us as educators, as visionaries, as the change makers. So first and foremost is, please be open to learning. And as educators, I understand that we are always going to be seekers. We are always going to be learners. We cannot tell that we are all 100 on 100. There will be some part where I would be 60, but there would be some part where Dr. Aruna ma'am would be 90 on 100. So definitely we need to be first open to learning. Our attitude should be in such a way that you give before you ask. So if we are giving, if we are givers in not only in our education domain, but givers in terms related to empathy to our parents. Because even our parents are not understanding how do we fit in the puzzle. How do we manage the whole thing which has come all together on our heads? Because as it is, COVID has really proven that this is something uncertain, and we were all preparing for that certainty of education system which goes on, and COVID has taught us that please be prepared also for the uncertain. We all know that death is certain, but how are we going to die is uncertain. So in the same way, education is certain, but the uncertainty what COVID has taught us, ki you are not only just teaching, you also have to experiment. COVID took us to the houses of our children. We actually entered into their houses, we entered into their rooms, we entered into their hearts, and we could understand that yes, there is a big lack in skills. And skills not only with the children or not with the students, not with the parents, also there was some lagging of skills with we as educators. Because for us to join those dots was really difficult. Okay, with what skill can I use that my student would understand this in a better way? How can I change my language pattern, which the student as well as the parents can understand it in an empathetic way? And do not label it as the teacher is loud or teacher is too vocal. So it was the skills which we were also getting prepared. So it is very important that we have an attitude which is of a giving, the skills which we regularly have to upgrade and update, as we all upgrade and update our wardrobes, our cell phones, even for that matter, our travels. Initially, maybe we would be traveling only in our within India or wherever, whichever part. Now we have expanded our horizons to traveling across the globe. And with the entire COVID, now we see that Karlo Dunya Muthi Mein. I did not really understand when Reliance came up with this, but now it is actually in Muthi Mein. And we are touching across the globe. Wherever, however, whichever part we are able to connect. So it is very important to upgrade your skills to that knowledge that your child understands the basic, also understands the very high part what you want to teach in. So regularly upgrade your skills, and please never, never say no to knowledge. Be open to learning. So your ask has to be perfect. Ask is your attitude, your skills, and your knowledge. And I think when our ask is perfect, it becomes easy for us to collaborate, it becomes easy for us to create, it becomes easy for us to also communicate. And with this, all these three C's, I think the change definitely happens. And let me tell you, friends, and this all what I am speaking is genuinely practiced by me every day in, day out. I do not come with any script, I do not come with any agenda. Ki this is how it's going to be. My agenda and my script always becomes ready when I see who is my audience. So, in the same way, I need to connect to my students. I need to have that reciprocation from heart to heart, not from my mind to the heart. And the time when I start with my heart to heart conversation, it's very easy for whether it is grade 3, whether it is grade 7, or whether it is grade 10 to connect and to speak, to open up. And that is what we want, that all our students have to have that curiosity of learning. They should be knowing ki, yes, after this, what is that going to be happening in the class? So the curiosity helps them maintain the momentum of learning, of holding that space and understanding, yes, this is happening for my benefit. This is happening for my growth. And this is not only for my growth, for my mental growth, but in fact, this is happening for all the levels of my growth. That is my physical level, my social level, my financial level, also understanding my spiritual level. So we are working on all the quotients, whether it is IQ, whether it is EQ, whether it is SQ, whether it is FQ, whether it is AQ. Not only the AQ is the adversity quotient, because now we are preparing them for all kind of disaster. So I think if we touch people from our hearts, and that heart to heart connections is the best connection. And Dr. Aruna, thank you. And I'm in deep gratitude because you always hold that space that anyone can connect to you heart to heart, irrespective to any time zone. So thank you with this, Divjot. Thank you for giving me an opportunity. And kudos to you for being that change maker, which I see you here.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That was really insightful. I have a question for you. What do you think about parents' involvement in teachers' learning process? And do you think it is required? And what do you think about children towards the parents in the teaching learning process?
So, first of all, let me tell you that teaching cannot be leaving the parents. Parents are the main pillars of education as well as the system. But we should understand that friends are important in the same way the parents are important for education, and we should walk hand in hands, not walking distance from them. If I will involve parents with me in the curriculum, in designing the curriculum also, and in taking their interest, how can we groom not only your child, in fact, how can we groom the group of students? So I think it will be very easy. So it is very important that the teachers, the student, as well as the parents, they should form a team and still work towards giving in the holistic education, not only the education which is restricted in the textbook, but a holistic education. So this is very, very important. And coming from going from the children's background to the parents' background. So let me tell you, it is very important that be honest to your parents. Be honest in telling that, yes, I don't know. The reason would be that I don't understand. The reason would be I am lagging behind. But the reason is never the teacher. The reason is never the education. So once when we start taking that initiative, yes, it is me who's lagging behind. I require a help. Can you help? So it is very important that as children, as students, have very honest conversations with your teachers, with your peers, with your parents, and involve your parents. Do not inform your parents. When the involvement is there, there is growth. But whenever there is information, there is stagnation. And then after that, sometime you forget that where am I reaching? Because you forget your goal. So it is very important to involve, not to inform. I hope, did I answer your question, Divjot?
Yes, ma'am. That was very inspiring. Now
Thank you.
it's time to learn something from the vast experiences of our next speaker, Mr. S.D. Sharma. With good 40 years of teaching experience, he has served Jain Narayan Postgraduate College, Lucknow in capacity of principal till 30th June. He has a long list of achievements and his personality is self introductory. Sir, I request you to enlighten us with your views.
Thank you, Divjot. Please allow me to share the screen. Uh, First of all, would like to congratulate the Dr. Aruna and thanks to Dr. Anurup Kaur to provide me a chance to interact with the intellectual people. Today's topic that is the embarrassing change and transformation, and it's for me. I'm audible to all. Hello.
Yes,
Yes, sir, you are on.
Yeah. Uh, Actually, for me, it is a uh, one of the chapter of the management. Uh, uh, we taught number of students in MBA classes for the what is change and what is transformation and how the change should be adopted by the number of individuals and the group and what happened thereafter. And for me, in one line, the only permanent thing in the world is change. Because if you will not change according to the circumstances, then definitely you should be obsolete thereafter. Therefore, we should learn the situation, we should learn the environment, and thereafter, what are the things required to change ourselves to compete with the circumstance and the environment to compete with the global world, then accordingly we have to change. Change can be defined as deviation in any existence state when any organization, system, process, individual source differences in their behavior could be considered as change. Change is to alter or modify something from its current state for betterment. Each change is a chance if planned. Because change may be planned and change may be unplanned. The next types of changes are spontaneous changes, but one of the change which is very important nowadays and everybody is asking what has happened and how we overcome that change. And that is the anticipated change. And it's an example of that change is the digitalization of education was anticipated by COVID-19 pandemic has brought it 10 years earlier. We all were thinking about the digitalization of education, but it may be in the year 2020 and thereafter. It was not expected, but it has happened. And the teacher has opted the change, and thereafter they learned so many things how to prepare themselves and to translate the things to the number of students uh, from distance. So that change was required, but at the end of the 2019, it was not required at them. It was expected 10 years later on, but that is that change anticipated and teachers adapted that change and for the students and for the society. Some changes are unplanned changes and planned changes also. Change can be change and transformation. For me, change can be small and incremental or large and complex. It is, however, something that must be constantly monitored and maintained. Uh, Initiatives such as could be example of change, migration of ERP software, making the switch to cloud-based project management, enhancement of security, entering new vertical based on various success. Transformation is almost always significant and large. Transformation is a fundamental internal evolution of your beliefs about why you do certain things. Transformation may not require any outside influence to be sustained, but it does necessitate fundamental shift from within. However, here are a few examples of transformation. Improving data performance by migrating to the cloud, marketing automation powered by big data, the transition of sales from retail distribution to a value-added reseller model. Nature is all about transformation. When done correctly, transformation has a long-term and far-reaching impact on the organization. There is a theory, but I would like to skip this theory. It is for the students only. I directly come to the change and transformation, and especially with the NAP. The NAP is introduced by Government of India after 1990 in 2020, and it has happened that as new education policy after 1986. And I think it's not required to explain this, but change has some resistance, and that resistance is happened just because of the three or four things. Number first, if political intentions is there, the government may able to implement that policy or that change. Uncertainty of the result, cost, fear of stakeholder and applicability. These are the things which resist the change. Factor forces for change. I hurriedly read out these and then come to the the last phase of the change and the transformation, especially for the educators. Factors, forces for changes. One, the quality of education needed to be improved, as we earlier said by Dr. Arup and the Dr. Neeta too. Professional courses were not producing employable workforce. This is one of the things which has to be considered by the government of India and the state government and the educators too. We are offering number of professional courses to number of students, even then they are not getting jobs in India or abroad too. And it is a question mark to the educators and the educational institution, and of course the professional courses too. Lack of innovation and entrepreneurial skills for degrading education. In the name of innovations, we are doing or we are experimenting so many things, but the result is, as we know, that we are not producing the employable youth. This is one of the reality of our education, that we should accept it. The number of innovation, in the name of innovation, we are doing this and that one, but it has no impact on the improvement of the student skills or not the employability of the students too. Education system has lost its relevance of making their life easier for the students. The learning of the existing system were less applicable in real life. So education system was always under the pressure to get change. But what change should be? It is one of the uh, question for the educator and the educationist and the institutions too. But in the name of NEP, we are now framing so many things. Number one, the single regulation for all level of school education will be. Second, new curriculum for early childhood care and education. Pivot on base literacy, changing the school curriculum and pedagogy, promoting regional and local languages, one of the change which may affect now, because we all know the number of developing countries or developed countries are having their own curriculum, and they deliver that curriculum in their local languages, because we know that the students, those belong to a particular area, they catch up that thing in their own language, and we are forcing that you have to learn the things in this language or that language. Definitely, it will not impact. So I think for me, this is one of the change will definitely will improve the learning level among the students. Asset assessment reforms. Uh, uh, Now, till now, we are debating on the grading system or the system which was earlier adopted by the teachers and the institution, which will be the best for the student. It is a debate, and actually, the result oriented means ki in what way we uh, ask that the student is successful in their life, whether they are getting job, whether they are a good civilization. So, what kind of process may be adopted of the result? It is debatable. It may be either the grading at the earlier system which was adopted, but ultimate result must be the person should be, the student should be the good civilian and the employable youth. And equitable and inclusive education is one of the change in the process of teachers recruitment, is one of the steps taken by the NCRT and NCT. And some of the changes are taken in the higher education system. And future of education in India, rephrasing and transformation. It has been observed that proposed change will surely revolutionize the education system in India, as the people said, after NEP it may happen. Let's see. Outcome in actual world is subject to realization and implementation of the policy in coming years. Maybe. For me, if we want to change that, the change in the name of change is not enough. Adaptation technique for change. How can we translate the things for the betterment of society and for the betterment of the students and the institution too? The first, the collection opinion of pupil involved in change, monitor all possible processes involved in change. Every aspect must be taken care and given adequate importance. The change in any system, process, or organization may seem very trivial, but in long run, ignoring them during change may not have good result. For embarrassing change, the first important thing is to consider each and every aspect that is affected by the change. Second, next thing to embrace the change is collecting the resource required to implement and scope up and cope up the change. Communication is very important part to embrace the change. Change acknowledgement is also helpful for managing the change, and adoption of change is essential to improve the working condition and organizational climate. As I as earlier said, if one does not accept the change, he will be out of the business or out of the world in this competitive world. Uh, there is a change mantra defined by me in three steps. If change is inevitable, no doubt. The discussion can be summarized as planned changes are desired and one should anticipate it. But for adoption of change, there is a change mantra: observe, anticipate, and plan change. Second, implement it with optimum communication and feedback, and incorporate the feedback and transform your organization. For teacher and learner, I think very rightly said by Dr. Neeta that the first educator should ready to adapt change by knowing the pros and cons of the change. Second, the change should be student centric. It should improve the uh, education skill or what kind of skill we are inputting in the students. That skill should be brought in with the help of this change. Change should be betterment of society. Change should be affordable, and change should make interesting and creative too. And change must be result oriented. So for me, the change definitely uh, affect the students, affect the educator, affect the society, affect the institution. But first, we should learn what change we required in our course curriculum, what change we required in translating the things to the number of students, whether the teachers are ready to accept that change. If not, that definitely by force we cannot force the students to learn so many things, and it will not be practicable to the number of students, and it will not help to improving the student education standard, and it will not be result oriented too. So I think uh, change is required, but change must be for the betterment of the society and betterment for the students and better civilization too. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sharma. I am really glad to hear your thoughts and the change mantra. I am very curious and I felt amazing about your good observation. I have a question. What kind of changes you are looking in the education system?
Uh, you actually, uh, I'm uh, in last 42 years, I am observing the number of things. The curriculum which is not required for a particular group or the particular area, then but we are imposing the same uh, course curriculum to number of students of that area. So first we have to learn what kind of course curriculum is required for a particular group or for a particular area. And secondly, uh, what are the things available there to transform that change? Actually, if the change adapted by this, the teacher or the educator, but the things are not available to transform that particular change, then definitely it will not result into the success of the students or the education or the educationist. Therefore, if what are the things we need to adapt that change must be available inside the institution. Then thereafter, an educator will be able to implement the change you or me required. And second thing, the education must be affordable, or change must be affordable. If not, then as very rightly said by Dr. Mitra, the FO, the financial uh, I think the framework must be there. If the things are required, if you want to adopt the change with the help of the technique, and you want to use some of the technical things, but you don't have the money. So how can it be possible for educator to adapt that change? So the financial, the intellectual, the social, the other things, and as well as also include the AQ also. So definitely some of the times it might not be possible to adapt a change just because of the any other reason. But for me, if you want to change the society, if you want to change the things according to your choice, then definitely you change. First, you change yourself, and then develop some of the things which are required to adapt that change, and thereafter we can change the institution, change the mindsets of the students and the teachers too. So I think it may be for me, a change is necessary uh, uh, at every step, and change is the only permanent thing on this earth. Everything is possible if we adopt the change, but change must be in positive sense. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing your visionary perspective. As we move ahead with our conference, I am delighted to introduce another new renowned personality, Professor Pervez. He is an academician, professor, researcher, and development economist. He is the international award winner, Chancellor's Gold Medalist, valedictorian, social activist, inspirational, motivational, and conference speaker, advisor, and thanked fashion critic, writer, editor, author, Dr. Honoris Causa, social knowledge, and humanitarian. He is PhD research fellow, MDs, and MBA. He is the founder and CEO of Independent Perception and Research Hub, also known as IPRH. In this young age, he has achieved many milestones. I will be delighted to call him on the stage for sharing his valuable insights with us.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Thank you so much, Divjot, describing me in this way. At first, I give my namaste to Dr. Aruna and all the brilliant personalities in front of me, because you have that type of experience in this field. Basically, I'm a very simple person so far, I think, and also give my gratitude to Dr. Aruna Kaur, because she actually the person who actually inviting me this kind of wonderful platform, which actually focus on education. So basically, I'm an educator and as a researcher, so my last 20 years of time, I'm just spending my life on teaching in a university and different kinds of research institution. So now today's topic, actually very interesting topic, and I give my another thanks to Dr. Aruna that these kinds of beautiful topics actually she picked up for this kind of webinar or conference, that is embracing change and transformation. Basically, as a area of business area person, as a business area faculty, we are actually know that changes happen in a product. In a product line, we just say, yes, our product line is changing now. This product, and this product. Like if I just always I give one example in my capstone class in a strategic management, that Lux always find out that they always give a new flavor, a new perfume soap in every 6 or 8 months. So this is a change. But now this is an era that embracing change and transformation in education. So this is a change also, the Zoom meeting, because in a COVID era, before the COVID era, we are actually not so much familiar that we are this kind of platform that, yes, this is one webinar will be conducted by in Google Meet or in Zoom meeting, but now it's happened. Also, this is a change for the students, that the online education system. So just I'm just saying a little bit about the change, that everything around us is constantly changing, and whether we perceive it or not. So societal change and technological change actually happened in every day. And the main point is here, change and novelty can be perceived as the way challenging, risky, and uncertainty, some of the point. And embracing change means accepting that you cannot keep everything under control. So it is a point that some are the when the changes made, some are the recipient are reactive, some are proactive. So this is the way that how change is happened in our life. So the main point is here that when the change is made, we must adopt a growth of mindset inside our psychological mind, because changes happen. So when we face some change become as much easier, we think in terms of growth and learning. So if we think that, yes, this change is good for me, then it will give us or give me a growth. So that growth actually gives me the chance to get the success in my life. So in the meantime, if we just create a list of change, then in a simple way, a change, separate from parents to go to the nursery class. This is one change in our life. Another change is here that making your first friend, also a change in our life. Another change in a childhood, that you starting the school in your life. That is a change for a child. So in this way, when we change any school, that is a change. And also if getting one brother and sister, also a change in our life. So it's a change. So change is happening each and every time in our life. But the point is here that how can we set the goal? Because in this lots of change, we must set the goal and we practice it in a normal way. So when now in our hand, we have the touch mobile, but the 20 years before or 15 years before, we had the button phone in our hand. So that is also a change. So how can you be confident and listen to yourself to capture the change? That is the main thing. So the main point is here that change is normal and necessary part of human life, and accepting it can be real in a challenging way. So as a person, you must cope up with the change, and that will be better for your life. Like for an institution, if in an institution you must, like as a faculty, as a teacher, that is the fact. Now already Dr. Nita and Sir Sunil already said that faculty must cope up with the transformation of the change. So how can they change? They adjust to unfamiliar situation and demand and changing the roles. Also, they being capture the opportunity from that change, to capture the mind of the student, that how can they change the curriculum. When the curriculum is changed, the faculty should learn something about the new curriculum. When I was actually working with the World Bank for HETS project, so in an IQAC cell, I also observed that each and every university institution around the world, now they change their curriculum. Now they change the enhancement educational program in their university, because it is necessary. Because when I served the 4 recipients from different area, like the corporate part, like the teachers part, like the student part, also like the parents part, all and every recipient, the questionnaire, when I set up, they just said me one thing, that Mr. Parvez, we want a student with not a high CGPA. We want a student who know how to do this thing when they join in our corporate sector. So that is the main thing, because what's the value of the certificate? The certificate value is when this certificate give you some earning source. So that is the main target. When our educational institution give the change and transforming the curriculum, then that curriculum give our student, basically students is our ambassador. So these ambassador, when they go to the market, go to the all around the world, and when they get success in their life, then an education said, yes, he or she is our student and he or she is our ambassador. So that is the transformation of change in the student life or in an educational area or sector. The point is here that in a self, as a faculty, in a self, you accepting that challenge and change, because it is also a part of your life. And also discipline your mindness and discipline the new idea as the opportunity, and demonstrate that when the changes occur, you will cope up with that change easily, and make that suggestion for the student to motivate your student that yes, this change will make you more successful in your career. So that is the way that how can you behave in your change. Now the point is here in the transformation part. Actually, transformation means that what if I fail? If I fail, then if we let it. So the point is here, when the transformation is here, some of the time we are failed, but no, we will take it as a challenges. Because there is in a market, there is a narrow market, there is a niche market, there is a mass market. So each and every where is a market is here, the product is the main thing. So as an institution, as a faculty, you are the faculty of an institution. So your students are the ambassador for that institution. So if you are not cope up with the transformation, then it's not possible for you to give a better thing to this world, because teaching is a novel profession and you are the change maker. Already Dr. Anirudh say that yes, teacher actually the change maker. So you have to that quality, that capacity, that capability to cope up with the change, and must give something better, give something motivation to your student. And also believe one thing, that in the educational sector, the questioning pattern is a most important part for this era. And in my institution, when I work with the World Bank for HECEP project, I am just introduced the Bloom's taxonomy in the questioning pattern part. So in the curriculum part, you are applying the Bloom's taxonomy. Under the Bloom's taxonomy, you have 3 domains, and with that 3 domain, you can easily structure a Bloom's taxonomy question, and with that question you can also give them mark with the question and set up the curriculum. And another point is here, some of the institution do not divided the syllabus and curriculum. So syllabus is a different thing, curriculum is a different thing. So this is also a change in an institution. So we must, as a faculty, as a teacher, it is also a change, is a transformation in your life to understand that what is the syllabus, what's the course outline, and what's the curriculum for your course, for your institution. Because at the first day of the semester, it is the right for the student to know how this course is designed, what types of question will come in our examination, what are the chapter basically you covered up in this semester, because this is the right for the student. So this is the change in our educational system now. So we called it the activity-based learning system. And yes, technology is a supportive part with this activity-based learning system. Like technology give us the Google Classroom or Zoom or online education, everything. But the main point is here, the theory, the perspective, the perception, that how can you think the change, how can you receive the change, and how can you implement the change. And Dr. Sunil already said one thing, change should be affordable. Change should be affordable, because it is very important point, because if my mass student is not apply that change, then it is not then that change will not bring a success in our life. Like in our country, we face a big problem in COVID era, when the government said, yes, each and every institution must take their class by online, like in a Zoom meeting. So the student face one problem, that the internet facility problem, because how can they get up the online class, because they have no internet system in their, like no Wi-Fi connection in the village, because most of the students go to the village, went to the village at that time. So at that point, our government offering free internet connection for the student. That is also a change. That is also a transformation. So in this way, I think that development of innovation, vision for your institution, that is one important part of the transformation. And also the point is here, that's analyzing each and every part, that how this change is happening and what the cause and effect of this change in your institution, in the education. And if we want to be a sustainable development goal in our educational sector, then change must be happening. Otherwise, it's not possible. And each and every student, each and every child must be goes to school and must write their name, that yes, I understand this is the education for me, and after this education I will survive in this world with the mission of SDGs, with the mission of sustainable development goal. So thank you so much for inviting me this platform.
Thanks a lot, Professor Pervez. I really liked your statement that change is not under control. And I'm thinking the reason behind it. I'm curious to know what are the major reasons of the change, and what is the best way to keep yourself positive during this time of change?
Okay, before my answering my question, please give the floor to Sir Sunil, because he is actually raised his hand. Please, sir. Please, sir.
Actually, in India, I think I would like to ask this question to Dr. Aruna. Wadkar because she is engaged in so many projects in education. In India, there are two types of education pattern nowadays: the government and the private sectors. For both government and the private sector education, uh, NCT, AICT, or UGC define norms, but have no control at all on government system and also the private system. Uh, in government system or government institutions, they have uh, no accountability at all. The teacher taught the course curriculum, which is defined by them. But what will happen thereafter, after completion of that, or the after the result of the students, they have no control and no accountability of the teachers concerned. Most of the time, they in government sector they argue have no such facilities which are available to the number of private institutions, and they uh, uh, actually face saving idea of all of them because we are not providing the same education because of lack of this technology. But on the same side, on the other side of the picture, the private institution are offering the education, but in their own way, not adopting the course curriculum that is defined by the NCT, ICT, or UGC, or the other platform of the government of India or the state governments, but managing with the help of the good educators because they are having the technology, well, the latest technology, latest know-how, but they are forcing their teacher, but the teacher, those are implementing the change. I don't have any doubt in my mind. In comparison to government institution, the private education or private institutions are uh, uh, taking all pains to change or the transformation of it. But the government, in comparison to the government teachers, the private scholars, the private teachers are not having that praise or that remuneration which are the government sector has. So, uh, and definitely later on, that kind of change or any change will not be effective if this is the discrimination between the two. So definitely it will not affect the number of the students, number of the institutions, and the society too, and the civilization too. Therefore, we should do something that the government teacher must be accountable as the private teachers do, and the private institution should provide the same praise and the remuneration to their teacher as the government sector employees are getting too. Otherwise, any kind of change will not affect for so many years or for the long term. In my opinion, it may be wrong.
Thank you so much, sir. May I request again, Divjot, please ask me the question again, please.
Yeah, sure. I was thinking about the major reasons of change in our life and the best way to keep yourself positive during that change.
Yes, thank you. You're very interesting and very fruitful question. Before I giving the answer of this question, I just said, Dr. Sir Sunil, that the point you raise, yes, it is also happened in these third world countries. Also, I am also observed this thing in my country, and the point is here that the you said the affordability, the costing is much more higher. So that is the main thing, that when my playground, when my child just write down one in private school and in government school, so these two are huge different. So the affordability, and I think Dr. Nita and Dr. Aruna Madam also agreed with me that yes, that is one problem we face in this society also. So now I come to the point of our host, Divjot Kaur, that the point is here that how can you positively think these changes? So as a person, each and every day when you just woke up from your get up from the bed, so at that time, what's your activity? You at first we just learn from our childhood that brush your teeth, wash your face. So this is a thing, general thing. So if the changes happen, then what will happen in your life? So you forgot how to brush your teeth? No. So that is the positivity, that how can you cope up with the change? So in every time of your life, when the changes come, you just think it, yes, this change is give something positive to me. Yes, some of the change are negative also. In the educational sector, the affordability, it's also a negative impact. But the positive thing is here, when the institution, when the government, when the private sector offering, changing the curriculum, it's also for development of you, for development for you. And after this change, you will get benefit in your future life. So that is called the sustainable education. So if you sustain in your life, if you sustain in your career, then this change will give you more benefit, more easy access to get yourself to involve all around the world, all the MNCs, all the corporate sector, all the institution. So I think that as a student perspective, always think that yes, change will happen, change is coming each and every moment in my life, but I have that power to capture that change. For a faculty part, yes, you are the mentor, you are the change maker, so you know what are the change will come and how you cope up this change with your student, and you give motivation to them, you give more suggestion to them, and you create a framework that how easily this change will give them benefit. So I think, thank you so much for asking me this question.
Thanks for your answer. It was really inspiring, and I really loved your visionary perspective. Next, moving. Now, I would like to go towards the next part of our conference.
Okay, I suppose there is some technical glitch. Divjot, you're not audible, my dear.
Am I audible now?
Yes, you are. Thank you.
Now it's time to hear the final statement of all our wonderful speakers. Hence, I would like to call Dr. Anurup ma'am. After listening to everyone, what is your opinion?
Thank you, Divjot, once again inviting me for this final statement. Indeed, it was great listening to all the speakers, and I'm really trying to compile each and everything. When Dr. Neeta started with that first, bringing any kind of change, the educators and all the other leaders, they need to change their mindset. And when I heard Mr. S.D. Sharma talking about the NEP and the choice that has been given for the medium of education, that is definitely going to bring change and it is going to create interest among students. And when I heard about the sustainable development goals, from Mr. Professor M.S. Parvez. So that's really inspiring. And when we talk about the activity-based learning, experimental learning nowadays that is happening all over the world, so we really feel that change is going to happen in a very positive manner for everyone, because I can see that smile on our youth. Ayush is giving a beautiful smile with these thoughts. And I really feel that students are really happy. We can observe that I mean, it's not boring. They actually say in the classroom, it's not boring. It's making us feel happy. So for me, the true change in the society occurs when actual transformation happens in every field. And I have heard so many things from S.D. Sharma sir, because he is an expert, and I can definitely feel that. And when I was listening to Professor M.S. Parvez about the experience that he is observing during the classroom and other things, so that really makes me understand that it basically starts with the triangle of change maker, change seeker, and the environment, which includes parents, friends, all the near and dear ones, and circumstances. So let's make everything compile with our beautiful smiles. And if we take everything positively, definitely we can see a beautiful world, happy world. Thank you very much, Divjot.
Thank you, ma'am. I agree with you. It is truly said that we start a statement, but later on we add too many things to it. May I request Dr. Neeta to share her aspects, whether she agrees with our other speakers or not?
So thank you, Divjot. Definitely, I think I'm 110 on my experience, and with the experiential learning with all the dignitaries here. I totally agree that it is important that we all understand that change is only one thing which is constant. And with change, there also comes that we need to focus on all the five W's and one H. Are all the five W's and one H is important, whether it is when, what, where, why, which, but the main thing is how. And when we focus on solutions, we will definitely get our paths. So instead of focusing on problems, which is always going to be part of us, I really love the beautiful line where Dr. Sunil sir said that it is going to be day, it is going to be night. Night is also equally important because we want the moon and the stars. And the day is also equally important because we want the sun and we want the air. So, in the same way, understanding that we all have to equally balance everything. So, let's learn from our lessons and let's always try to upgrade and update ourselves. That is the way where we can all be problem solvers. And this is a very small definition and an easy definition for being the change makers. Thank you, Divjot.
Thank you, ma'am. For sure, the discussion of intellectuals always gives a wonderful conclusion. To do that, it's important to know from Professor Pervez as well. So I appeal to him to come forward and share his thoughts with us.
Thank you so much. It is my gratitude to all of the experts in front of me. Basically, today's session actually very fruitful session, because now in these types of conference, actually what actually happened that we find out one fact. We are just brainstorming with our experts' views, experts' perception, and after that, one fact is coming that yes, this thing will be happen. It is for good for the society, good for the whole world, good for the education. So this kind of platform, actually today's conference gives us one point that yes, change, embracing change and transformation is happen in our life, in our educational life, in our everyday life. But the point is here that how the institution capture this thing and how the students capture this thing and how the teachers actually transforming this thing to our student, because when the UGCs, when the University Grant Commission said, yes, these are the rules to follow the university, you must follow this course curriculum, so you must design this course curriculum in this way. So university, as an institution, follow that rules, but without thinking what will the impact that impact to our student. But the teachers actually transforming the changes, and they empowered, they motivate, and they learn this thing that yes, change is happening, and this change will give you benefit, this change will give you to reach your target in your life, because you are the ambassador in this institution. So after cope up this change, yes, you will be a successful person in your life, because this change give you the increase your capacity, your capability, and also all through your value in this world. So I think these kinds of conference will happen more and more by this organization. And I give my another thanks to Dr. Aruna and Dr. Anurup, and also Dr. Nita and Sir Sunil to inviting me this kinds of wonderful educational platform. And I think this will happen, and these kinds of conference will change, a big change to the policy of the whole education in this world. Thank you.
I am sure that your words are really helpful for everyone. Before proceeding to the end of this conference, now may I request Mr. S.D. Sharma to share his perspective with all of us.
Thank you, Divjot. At last, would like to congratulate Dr. Aruna and Dr. Anurup for inviting me here, and also uh, to organize such type of important discussion on the issue, and definitely it will impact the educators and the institutions to later on. But for me, if you want to be a leader of the world, then definitely adoption of the change is essential, and for the improvement of the working conditions and the organizational climate, change of the organizational climate too. If one does not, as I had already included, if one does not accept the change, he will be out of the global world. But at the same time, it has already been mentioned by me, and it is a question for the Dr. Aruna thereafter. But the same platform must be provided to the government and the private institutions. Otherwise, could change will not effect or be beneficial for the students, for the educators, and for the society too. So it's my humble request, Dr. Aruna Wadkar, that
Yes,
through your institution, through your organization, you should send this message to the number of government institutions that they should force the private institution the same kind of treatment must be provided as they are doing to the government sector institutions. Affordability is one of the another thing. It may be affordable for the private institution and might be thereafter or later on. The funds may be released by the government institution, by the government of India or the state government. They can adopt it. But the question is the question of the accountability. If the things are going as on, then definitely it will not get at all. Those teachers who would like to change themselves, would like to adapt the change with are the things available outside the world, outside India, then definitely they can learn so many things from outside and they can translate the thing they would like to transform the things. But if the same praise and the same things which are available to a sector, means a government one, if not available to another platform, then definitely it will harsh to all of them, and that definitely it will not affect as it should be. So from my side, once again, it is my second time when I joining your institution and the platform, and I hope that again and again you will invite me to discuss the so many things, uh, and I will definitely the things which had happened in my life in last 42 years in education system will may be beneficial to number of students or number of teachers, those who are listening. Thank you.
Right. Mr. Sunil, adding to, as you had put this thought twice to me.
Yeah.
So I would just like to say that, yes, as you said, the private sector and the government sector have a huge difference in delivering the curriculum or the imparting the education to them. But yes, until unless we see that couple of foundations are taking or owning up the government schools, where they go ahead and groom the teachers, groom the, give more sessions to the children, whichever subject they are expert with, they are doing it. But until unless each one of us join hands, put together and bring a draft to the government, notice to the government, yes, we are the educators, we want this way to be happening, even the equal methodology or the equal facility or the equal the what do you say, the level of imparting education in private sector to be the same in the government sector. So as in our India has diversity states. So every state has a government. So every state has their own rules and regulations. So it is very difficult when we want to really do it. Also, it is actually a very difficult task to bring in everyone together. So what we do even under HETS, my co-fellows already know that we train teachers going to the government schools, or we give sessions online to the children for the language, maybe soft skills, personality development as such. So in one way or the other, each one is trying. What happens is, until unless we bond together, come together, make a chain of linking each one of us, till then, it is really bringing the benchmark to hold both the private and the government sectors to be bringing institutions. It would be definitely, a bit a task, actually. And yes, affordability, as you said, definitely affordability at government schools is good. If that, with that affordability, if we give more a push to groom teachers and students, then with the same affordability, even they will shine, what I believe in. So in order to make that, not one person like me, you, or Dr. Neeta, or Professor Parvez, or Dr. Anurup Kaur and Dr. Sugandhi, who are in my team, most of them, it is like we all try, we all have thoughts, but how do we go about it? We want to do, but how we do? The individual cannot move forward. We have so many aspirations to bring in that change, but yes, we are trying. Hopefully we see end of the tunnel. There is always a light. Let us move on to the tunnel and see where we reach the light as such. So yeah, that's how I think about it.
We are with you, and what kind of change you want, then definitely we should write to the number of institutions like AICT, NCT, and the others, UGC also. And but there must be a change in the intention of the private ownership. Yeah.
Yes.
If they change themselves, they change their moods, then definitely it will impact a lot of impact in society.
Absolutely. I agree with that. Thank you so much. Yes.
Yeah, call Professor Pervez. He wants to say something.
Yes, I'm just give one of the opinion just added with Madam Dr. Aruna, that in the future conference or webinar, if possible, just invite some government education ministry related officers. If you just invited them in these kinds of webinar, I think this, if they just think it, yes, this will happen, yes, then I think it will be more easily access to them. Yes, this kinds of conference or webinar actually do your organization, and yes, it will be benefited for the student in our future. So
thank you for the suggestion, Professor. We will definitely look into that. And in case you have somebody in your mind, or Mr. Sunil has you people in the mind, we can definitely collaborate, bring them on the platform, share all this, and I would be glad to be, taking it further along with you to with collaboration. I would be glad to. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. It was really great, and I am blessed that I witnessed this wonderful episode of Mentors Meet, where I got a chance to know and learn a lot from all of you. Now, for the global statement, may I request Dr. Aruna Wadkar to come forward and share her thoughts with all of us.
Thank you, Divjot. And yes, when I was so happy to have all of you on this platform, and I'm really with the suggestions that I was given, with the thoughts that were shared by you people, it was like, and a lot of takeaway for me as well, because I never think that as an educator, whatever level I have reached today, it's not that I know everything. It's not that. It is that I am still learning. It is that I need to know more. So what is that I need to know more is what every educator should be thinking about it. And yes, when I talk about it, just yesterday, I was called by a very prominent organization as a speaker on one of the forum where there were like 80 to 100 principals and teachers. And the topic given was curriculum in the 21st century learning. So what I found out after the session, when we are having our discussion, when we were talking about, okay, what questions you have or what is that you think on, the reciprocation was like, it made me also think, as we as educators, we are highly educated and we always bring in high words and high thinking based on what we have learned in the books, not with our experiences or what we have dealt with the teachers or with the students or with the management, whoever it is. But when you put across to the principals or the teachers who are coming to listen to you, if we put across, in a simple manner, with a simple language which they could comprehend what they want, it is so much understanding that they were so happy that, ma'am, we went to many of it, but really today you have given us the clear picture of what and how, as Dr. Neeta said yesterday, I covered that point as well, 5 W's and 1 H. So when that I covered, and when they got to know the sequentialization of how do you carry on the curriculum in overall, they were like, I got so many praise from them that I was like, okay, today my day, what I have given to the other educators was productive. I am happy. Whether I receive any remuneration, I don't receive, or whether my name is coming up or somebody is talking about me, oh, she is this. No. But that moment when they connected with me, that was the time that, yes, I am doing my duty or my responsibility, very ethically, very productively, and I am reaching out to where I should reach, and I am bringing a change in their mindset. So it so happened that I was like, that is what made me think that whatever higher education an educator has, unless we don't make a bonding and understanding to whom we are imparting, to know who the audience are. We know our audience are teachers. And again, as we say, not everybody are quick learners. We need to give them the way they understand, as we tell to all the teachers, to the students, how they need to impart. So it is similar with the educators as well. We need to understand them, what they need, and if we are giving them in the right manner, so there is a change that they will take away. So when we go as observation, lesson plans, or we call class observations, when we go, we have a record of, okay, the first observation of a teacher or the first performance of the child was out of 10, it was 5. But the next observation, we observe that it was next is 8. The child from 6 to reach to 7. So when there is a raise in the bar, then we make sure that it is going in the right path. But if it becomes flat or it becomes stagnant, then we think that no, we are not heading anywhere. Giving my time in the education sector, but there is no change happening. The transformation starts from bit by bit until unless you try to make that change. So embracing change is very, very, very inevitable, which you really need to think and ponder how, what, when, why, all these we have to ponder. That is what, and a lot of takeaway from all of you. And I can go on talking. I have the experiences, or I can go on talking, but then I would like to really appreciate your presence, sparing your time on this Sunday and present on this platform. It's my pleasure to be hosting you all. And thank you, Divjot. You are awesome. And Ayush and my all other students who are as audience here, they would also know that yes, there is something that we also need to learn, and we are the role model for them to be modeling what they have to follow. And yes, on 14th November, we are planning for a small event, and where we would be launching the first book of our HETS Youth League Association member, Naisha. Her book has been launched and it is on Amazon. It will be launched. So the first effort of HETS of getting a young author to be start writing and things. So we will be launching on 14th November. So I would definitely, yes, the message would be going on, but I would be very happy if all my distinguished guests would be there. It would be a pleasure. And the host will be all our young youth league. It will be taken up by them. So, and this is what I need to say. Give us a chance to, grow, help. We need your support. We need your collaboration. We need your handshake, hand in hand to go, and give us more suggestions how we can proceed further. And thank you so much for this once again, wonderful discussion, productive discussion. And yes, again, there is a small token of appreciation awaiting for you people. And yes, Divjot, it is over to you. And this the token of appreciation that is coming to you is by our technical team, Divjot and Ayush, who are working on this, your appreciation token. Yes, Divjot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It was really awesome to listen to you and all the takeaways from you and all the speakers. Now it's time to share the efforts of all the intellectuals who participated in our different shows. First of all, we would like to our two true intellectuals of the show Unheard Stories.
Yes, we had a series of unheard stories, the true intellectuals. So we have these token of appreciation for them.
Our first intellectual for the mentors meet, Dr. Anurup.
Thank you, Divjot. Thank you, Dr. Aruna, for this opportunity where I have heard and shared my views. There are really lot many takeaways. Thank you very much.
Our next appreciation certificate is for Dr. Neeta Matre.
Thank you so much. My pleasure, and deep gratitude for all the educators for sharing this platform also with me and also enlightening me. And I'm really a learner and a seeker. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Neeta. Next certificate of appreciation is for Professor Parvez.
It's a great honor for me, and I'm glad for these kinds of certification and give my gratitude to Dr. Aruna Madam and Dr. Anurup and this organization. Thank you so much.
Our last certificate of appreciation for the mentors meet is for Mr. Sunil Dutt Sharma.
Thank you, Divjot, and I hope that the association with the organization will go on. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Next certificate is for me for hosting this mentors meet, and I am thankful to everybody. The next certificate of appreciation is for the social ethos conducted by Dr. Anurup Kaur on the topic kindness. I thank you for conducting this session.
Thanks for the honor. Thank you, Divjot. Thanks, Dr. Aruna.
Thank you, ma'am. The next certificate of appreciation is for Jyotna Singh for hosting the social ethos. I thank you a lot. She is a part of our HETS Youth League Association. The next certificate is for Ms. Ankita Mehrotra for conducting the one of our unheard stories session. The next certificate of appreciation is for Mr. Sunil Dutt Sharma again for sharing his experiences on the platform of our unheard stories. Thanks a lot to you.
Thank you, Divjot, and I hope that the organization will call me again or invite me again to discuss on so many issues.
Thank you, sir. Next one again goes to Professor Parvez for sharing his thoughts on Unheard Stories platform.
Oh, it's a really pleasure for me. Thank you so much, Divjot and this organization. And I hope that in future, the organization again remembering me and they inviting me for this kinds of wonderful and beautiful platform. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, sir. The next certificate goes to Mrs. Supreet Kaur for sharing her experience on this platform.
Thank you so much, Divjot, and thank you so much, Anurup ma'am, for giving me opportunity to share my experiences and enlighten everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Next certificate of appreciation is for Ayush Watts for hosting one of our unheard stories. And I'm really grateful for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Divjot. Thank you. It's an honor.
Next certificate of appreciation goes to Rasleen Kaur for hosting Unheard Stories.
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.
Thanks a lot. Next certificate of appreciation is for Dr. Anurup Kaur for conducting a session on the topic Love Yourself for students and teachers. Thanks a lot, ma'am.
Thank you once again, Divjot.
Thank you, ma'am. The next certificate of appreciation is for Dr. Aruna Wadkar for her efforts and all the support and guidance to everyone. Thank you so much.
Wow, beautiful. And that was required.
Thank you so
The
much.
true inspiration.
I never expected, but yes, my team is my strength. And without the team, and all who have come along with me. It's like a blessings to me. So thank you so much. This was, I mean, I had never expected though. It is your platform. It's our family. So thank you so much. Wow. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks a lot to everyone.
And yes, Divjot, I would like to add one more statement that the certificates, what you see here, are very simple, not too much of, what you say, because our team, our youth who are going ahead and doing things. So I don't make much changes in them because they need to learn by themselves. So I give them that opportunity that they do it, and it is a praise of for them, and appreciation for them that encourages them to do more. So if these certificates and our thoughts that we are conducting is shared by you all to the forum outside, maybe on any other platform or player, I mean Facebook, or liking our YouTube, subscribing to it, liking it, it would be a real encouragement to my students and my team, and that would work more. So I would definitely, a humble request, you can definitely visit our YouTube channels. Of HETS YouTube channel is there, and kindly bring in more subscribers so that our children would be enthusiasm to do more, where they will be active and they can do much more. And I know once everybody needs that appreciation, a word of wow, that's good. So today my children gave me that appreciation, and then which I mean, it's we are family, it's my platform, but getting that from my children and the team, it's like a blessing. That is no words for that. So humble request, collaboration, bind with us, and we can do more. Thank you so much for your presence today, and thank you. Love you all. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Now, I would like to request Ayush for sharing.
Thank you, Divjot. I hope I'm audible. First of all, this was a great session. So much of wisdom, so much of knowledge. Even though I got disconnected for, I think, 1 or 2 minutes, I had to restart my router. Maybe it got overloaded from so much information at the same time. But anyways, it was great. I got to learn a lot, and I hope that all the audience had the same experience as me. And without taking any more time, I would like to present the certificate for participation to the audience present right now. Can I share the screen, Divjot?
Yeah, yes.
Just a second. Just a second. The first certificate of participation goes to Rasleen Kaur. Thank you for participating in the event and making it a success. The next certificate of participation is presented to Mishti Gupta. Thank you for being here, and I hope that you learned a lot. The next certificate of participation goes to Sakshi Rathore. I hope that you had the same experience as me. I hope you learned a lot. And the next certificate of participation is presented to Naisha. Thank you for being here and helping it make a great success. Thank you, everyone. Over to you, Divjot. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, everyone. First of all, let me thank Almighty God for the incredible achievement of completing the first episode of Mentors Meet. For this wonderful initiative, I pay my heartiest gratitude to the founder and the managing director of HETS, Dr.Aruna Wadkar. This move is definitely going to inspire many of us. I am thankful to all our eminent speakers, Dr. Anurup Kaur, Dr. Neeta, Professor Parvez, and Mr. S.D. Sharma for sharing their motivating views and thoughts with all of us. I am obliged to all the other members of HETS for their unstinted support. Last but not the least, from the bottom of my heart, I am thankful to all the audience. Thank you everyone once again for being with us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.